In recent days, we've seen the JIKOOK start to stir up rumors out of nowhere. Every time they notice Jungkook and Taehyung spending more time together or being close, a group of people appear to invent stories to try to tarnish what's going on between them. This has become commonplace. They try to spin tales, but in the end, they end up making themselves look bad. A clear example was what happened with Tyler's concert. That show had 2 dates, September 13th and 14th. Tyler's official account posted a photo on the 14th, showing Taehyung, Namjoon, and J-Hope. This confirms that they were at the concert that day. On the other hand, Blackpink's Jennie went on September 13th. 2 different days, different situations. Even so, the JIKOOKs took the opportunity to mix it all up and create a story that never happened. The funny thing is that everything is well documented: dates, photos, and even videos. Even so, some chose to ignore the facts and create their own story. The result was an attempt to link Taehyung to Jennie without proof, just because it suited them to fuel the gossip. Then came the issue of the t-shirts. At that concert, there were special gifts for VIP guests, and both Taehyung and Namjoon appeared live wearing those clothes. Among the attendees was also a friend who went with Jennie, and she was given one of those t-shirts. At that point, the JIKOOK started saying that Jennie had received the gift and that she had passed it on to Taehyung. The problem is that in the video where the girl shows the t-shirt, her face isn't visible, and with that minimal confusion, they started a huge rumor. But if you look closely, the clothes that friend was wearing are different from the ones Jennie wore on September 13th, enough to prove that the gift was for the friend, not Jennie. That's where it becomes clear that everything was fabricated. Jennie went to the concert on the 13th, Taehyung was there on the 14th. They didn't coincide, they didn't share space or time. Everything else is baseless speculation. And the most ironic thing is that instead of harming Taehyung or Jungkook, these types of rumors end up showing how unserious the people who make them up are. What really matters here isn't what the rumors say, but what happens between Jungkook and Taehyung. The way they continue to share things, the natural way they relate to each other, and how they've remained close despite everything surrounding them. They don't need anyone to defend them, because their way of being together speaks louder than any rumor. This case of the concert and the t-shirts is just another example of how they try to create meaningless stories. When you review the facts, everything fits: different dates, clear evidence, and details that dismantle any theory. And while others waste time inventing, Jungkook and Taehyung continue doing their thing, without letting those rumors change what they have. Jungkook recently returned to Korea, and his arrival was a moment filled with emotion. At the airport, many people were waiting for him, all with the same desire: to see him back home. The atmosphere was joyful, with shouts and cameras capturing his every move, but what caught everyone's attention was how he appeared smiling, calm, and with that energy he always transmits when he's in a good mood. It was clear he was happy to be back and reunited with his people. That welcome showed how strong the affection for him is. It wasn't just about his music, but also what he means as a person to those who follow him. Seeing him walk confidently, occasionally waving and displaying calmness, was enough to make the wait worthwhile. Now, what many hope is for him to be able to rest at home for a few days, recharge, and then slowly return to his activities. While Jungkook was in that moment of return, Taehyung also showed signs of closeness, but from another place. On Weverse, he responded to accounts dedicated to Taehyung, something that didn't go unnoticed. With these responses, he made it clear that he pays attention to those who celebrate what he shares with Jungkook, and that he also values those who support them without resorting to criticism or rumors. This detail may seem small, but it carries a lot of weight for fans. It shows that Taehyung recognizes the importance of that connection and nurtures it in a simple yet sincere way. With each interaction on social media, he reinforces what we've already seen at different times: that his relationship with Jungkook remains strong and that it doesn't matter what others try to invent. Taehyung's memories are full of special moments. We've seen them laugh together on streams, share emotional moments where they've supported each other, or simply enjoy time together. That naturalness is what connects most with those who follow them. There's no need to embellish anything, because what they do together feels close and authentic. That's why every time they appear together live or share a moment in public, it becomes something they expect. Many dream of soon returning to live streaming, because those interactions are what leave a lasting impression: jokes, laughter, spontaneous gestures that end up being remembered for a long time. What's interesting is how these two moments, Jungkook's arrival and Taehyung's activity on Weverse, end up connecting. One returns home with a smile that reassures fans, and the other appears on social media showing support for accounts celebrating their union. They don't happen in the same place or in the same situation, but together they build a narrative that strengthens what Taehyung represents. Every detail counts. From Jungkook's greeting at the airport to Taehyung's comment on a digital platform. These are pieces that, when put together, show the full picture, the closeness that remains present and the anticipation of what's to come. Although there are rumors or attempts to divert attention with unfounded theories, what we see in reality is different. Jungkook and Taehyung continue to share moments that confirm what many already know: their bond is strong and continues to grow. There's no need to embellish it with explanations, because it's their everyday actions that make clear what lies between them. Jungkook's return and Taehyung's social media activity are two distinct scenes that together convey the same thing: that Taehyung is still present, with a connection that remains despite any surrounding noise. And that's what fans value, because they know that every appearance, no matter how simple it may seem, holds a special meaning. The way Taehyung and Jungkook behave when they're together doesn't require much explanation. It's something anyone can notice as soon as they see them. They don't need to say much or try hard to prove anything. It's those small, almost automatic gestures that show the connection between them. When they're next to each other, something immediately changes in their body language. It's not just about occupying the same space, but how they share it. There's always a touch, a glance, a movement that doesn't seem casual. They don't hesitate to get close, to seek each other out, as if what's happening around them doesn't matter too much. It's a way of being that seems natural, as if they've built it over time and it's now part of them. Every time they appear together on a live show or in some public moment, the anticipation grows. People look forward to those interactions because they know there will always be something to remember: a shared laugh, a spontaneous joke, a gesture that later becomes a topic of conversation. The curious thing is how those moments, however simple they may seem, end up making a difference. It's no wonder many dream of them doing another live stream soon. For those who follow them, those minutes are worth a lot because they show a more authentic side of themselves, far from what's planned or rehearsed. There's one detail that often goes unnoticed, but it's key. In the videos where Taehyung and Jungkook appear, there's a pattern that repeats itself over and over again. It's so evident that it's impossible to ignore: the way they move together. It doesn't matter if they're surrounded by people or if the cameras are rolling. It seems as if there's an invisible thread keeping them connected. One takes a step, and the other follows. One reaches out a hand, and the other responds without thinking. It's like a kind of silent dance, made up of gestures that seem to come from the heart more than the mind. In these moments, their naturalness is what's most striking. They don't seem forced or act as if they want to prove something. They just flow. That's where the magic of their relationship emerges. They don't need grand declarations to convey what they feel. A glance is enough to fill the space. And although everything happens subtly, those who observe them perfectly capture the underlying theme. The connection between them isn't limited to public situations. Their appearances on platforms like Weverse also demonstrate this bond. For example, when Jungkook reappears after a while and Taehyung is active on the same network, the coincidence doesn't go unnoticed. For many, it's not just a coincidence. These moments end up reinforcing that perception of closeness, as if there were a constant synchronicity in their way of being present. This has given rise to many comments, theories, and even debates about what this relationship represents. Some summarize it with a single word, Taekook. For others, it becomes a point of comparison with different dynamics, like JIKOOK. But what stands out in all this isn't the labels, but the naturalness with which Taehyung and Jungkook relate to each other. They don't need to fall into categories to make the connection noticeable. The most interesting thing is how they manage to convey closeness without grand gestures. Sometimes a simple touch is enough, like touching each other in passing or sharing a small space without discomfort. Other times, it's the looks that speak louder than words. That confidence in holding another's gaze, that unwavering willingness to get close, makes it clear there's something special that not everyone can replicate.